Welcome to this Killick Explains video, and welcome to the fourth and final part of my video series on how to invest in volatile markets. Like the other three parts, a quick recap on where we're headed with this, and then straight in to part four. So the recap is, I'm afraid, stock market investing is a no pain, no gain exercise. I've said that 4 times now. What do I mean? Over the long term, history suggests that stocks do beat both cash and inflation. They give decent real returns, as they're called, but short-term volatility is the price. There are no free lunches, so you need to get your approach right. And 2025 has been a big test of whether people are getting their approach right. Now, 4-part series. If you missed the other 3 parts, shame on you, but if you did, what were they all about? Part 1, what is volatility? Part 2, how do you capture it? Part 3, how do you approach it? Now this is all about how you can then make a mess of it all. It's traps. It's kind of the way we're wired as humans makes us do stuff quite instinctively, which is not helpful to getting volatile market investing right. And I want to cover 4. There are actually more than 4, but here are 4 biggies. And I've seen people doing this all the time so far in 2025. 1, panicking. 2, following everybody else. 3, being impatient, all right? And 4, market watching. Okay, panicking. Frankly, everyone's had a million reasons to panic this year. There have been swings in stocks, 10% up and down, okay, over a matter of days as Trump's tariff regime has come and gone and people have tried to interpret what on earth is happening, let alone what's going on in the underlying economy, all right? But panic selling never pays off. All right, people think, oh, I've got to get out of the market, boof. All right, they hit their out button, done, back in cash. But wait a minute, when are you going to go back into the market? I mean, are you saying you've made enough money to just retire today? Well, fine, walk away then. But actually, if not, you've got what I call re-entry stress. You know, when are you going to go back in? And this is where you need to be careful. If you miss the best investing days, and crikey, we've seen some of those this year. I mean, there was a day, okay, around the time that Trump relented on his blanket tariff move. This video is going out in mid-April 2025, by the way. There was a point where the markets went up in America by nearly 10%. Now, if you miss that, cumulative, the effect is enormous. And how many people could possibly have timed the market around that time correctly? Right? So you have to not miss the best investing days. To give it a bit more science, banks like JP Morgan and Barclays have calculated that if you miss the best investing days over a decade, you can halve your returns, and there may only be 5 or 10 of those days to miss. So be super careful if you think you're going to sell up in a panic and then be some kind of market timer on the way back in. Number 2, herding. People like to follow the crowd. People like to do what other people are doing, but you shouldn't. Investing, as Warren Buffett put it, is all about being greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. Okay? It's all about having a bit of a cool head, and in market conditions like they are now, being a little bit brave. And in part 3, I suggested that one way you can be a little bit brave without taking a hell of a lot of risk, if you like, is to simply set up a direct debit, regularly feed money into the market so that as it does this, you catch some of those bottoms. You won't catch them all, nobody does, but you'll catch enough of them to get the benefit later when the market finally resumes its normal and upward trajectory. Okay? Next, impatience. Share prices can recover quickly or slowly, all right, but they do eventually recover over the long term. But you may have to be patient. People are saying, you know, when will the market hit the bottom in 2025? Perhaps it already has, perhaps it's not coming for months. You've got to be patient in investing, all right, and you've got to be prepared to wait. Stock market investing is a slow burn, get wealthy over time sort of game, all right? And if that's not you, consider more broadly whether you should be in stocks at all, okay? Next point I make is nobody's going to tell you when the market's bottomed out. Yes, as I suggested in an earlier video, you can look at fear gauges, you can look at sentiment and so on, but I would prefer to be roughly right rather than absolutely wrong. Those are not my words, they were Sir David Tweedy's, all right? He wasn't talking about markets, but it's a great expression. Roughly right, not absolutely wrong. In other words, if you're following the drip feeding approach, little and often I suggested, you are going to catch some of those dips. You're not going to catch them all, and you'll be better off than someone who's sitting there trying to time the market. Now, finally, market watching and social media. Here's a question, all right, straight out at you. How many times per day as an investor do you check the news, share prices, your portfolio? Do you pick up your app and anxiously look at it every 5 minutes? Some people do, and it's understandable in 2025. Oddly, those same people don't when the market's rising steadily. It's just a human thing. We get anxious. We are loss averse, as it's called. We worry about losing money more than we enjoy gaining it, I'm afraid. It goes back to our days on the savannah. Yeah? Better to not be eaten by a lion than for the sun to come out and for you to enjoy the hunt, as it were. We are naturally risk averse, loss averse, if you like. So be careful. Bad news sells, we know that. Headline writers will use words like slump, dive, drop, plummet on a bad day, and they won't use such dramatic language on an up day. That's just human nature. Bad news sells. So be careful, right? Don't feed your fear monster, basically. Put that down, turn off the TV, go and do something else instead, all right? Don't become a victim of both media headlines and a need to keep checking in, all right? Now, that was part 4, basically concluded of a 4-part series. If you missed part 1, part 2 and part 3, well, your chance to catch up is at killick.com/resources, as is my How to Invest in Equities guide, in case you thought that was a bit fast and furious, as are the latest and previous copies of our quarterly magazine, Confidant.